Well, we did it. With everything that has been going on in the world for the past year and a half, it's pretty safe to say that our lives have been changed forever. Being stranded from loved ones has been extremely tough for many, which is why it was one of our biggest goals to donate $1,000 worth of PPE. Thanks to everyone who bought our bottles and donated, we were able to work with our friends at United Canada who gave us bulk discounts, allowing us to get $1,500 worth of PPE supplies for only $1,000. And with that, we'd like to introduce you to Sunbeam.
So Sunbeam is celebrating this year their 65th anniversary of being in the community. So we provide residential services in our department to children and adults that have diagnoses that make them medically fragile and in some cases technologically dependent. So because of Sunbeam, some of these children don't need to live in an ICU in a hospital. Instead, they live in the community. But the agency in general has more than just group homes. There are 3 big departments. So we provide developmental services to the region and beyond. And we also provide resources for families that don't have the children living in a group home. They live with them or in other settings. And so there's a lot of resources and connections with professionals and community that Sunbeam is the umbrella for all these 3 departments.
How do you find that the pandemic has affected these services and the families of Sunbeam?
It has affected them enormously, and that is because of the fragility of their health. We had to be extra careful with following the guidelines and all the processes that the government and public health put on the management of the pandemic. Lots of limitations and restrictions, so many of the folks that we support in group homes have been literally isolated for as long as the pandemic. So we're like 16 months, perhaps 14 months, where they haven't been able to do what they normally do, so they lost their ability to get together, to go to their day programs, to access community. So they've been really isolated in the homes that they live, and therefore there have been many cancellations of family visits, and depending on how the pandemic is going, lots of just their routines and their life themselves have changed very dramatically.
So PPE is one of our first environmental factors that we can take into place as when we look at infection control and how we can eliminate transmission of any disease, including COVID-19. And so when we look at, a year ago, as we started implementing and we learned more about COVID-19, the use of universal masking at all times to prevent, as a method of source control to prevent transmission, as well as all the other factors that come into play when we look at care encounters with the people that we support and how we can help them live their daily lives to the best quality possible, even in challenging times. And a lot of the time of how we do that is in very close contact with people, in a time where we're told to physically distance. And so the use of additional PPE, such as masks, gowns, gloves, face shields, or other forms of eye protection is one of our strongest defense tools that we have in our bucket. So Sunbeam, as part of developmental services in Ontario, falls under the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services. So we're separate from the Ministry of Health. And in a time where we're in a very health-focused period of our lives, many resources started out within Ministry of Health, which makes a lot of sense as well. There's a lot of areas of need. But we had some time to catch up where our own government aid came in a little bit later, a little bit staggered. So we're in a really good and happy place right now, but early on we really did have to rely in a time when supply demands were so different and so challenging across the world to source these products that we really needed to help keep people safe. I can very much remember, a year ago, April, May last year, every time a new box would come in that we weren't knowing if it would arrive or not was, you could almost cry with happiness. It was so exciting. So we're in a much more comfortable place now, but donations like what we're receiving today help keep that vision going.
Yeah, no, and the other thing that it does is not just helping with PPE, as in tool or as a resort, but also it tells us that the community cares for us, and that is priceless. So thank you so much for keeping us in your minds and in your hearts. I appreciate that.
While the pandemic seems to be coming to an end with things opening up and vaccination rates climbing, we must continue to be cautious to protect those who can't get vaccinated. Many of the Sunbeam residents fall into this category as a result of their conditions and have not seen their families for over 16 months. The PPE donated will help Sunbeam continue to do the amazing work that they do and help reunite families in the safest way possible. As we were finishing up our interview, they spoke about their experience working at Sunbeam, and Lourdes said something that really clicked with us.
It transforms your life. So you think you're coming here to give, and actually what you get is you come here to receive. It is an incredible transformational experience to work with these folks.
To finish off, our team would like to challenge you to go out and do something positive that would make an impact on someone's day. You just might find it'll make an even bigger impact on yours. If you like this video, subscribe, check out our website, and follow us at our social media links below.